health. Where does it lead?
I think if it goes unregulated, we're going to continue to see the spread of big data. We're going to continue to see the commercialization of big data. Because one key point to this is not only are employers interested in their bottom lines, but also outside companies and research firms and pharmaceutical companies are also deeply interested in getting access to data. So this is a commodity that has commercial value, that once you collect it, it can be sold. Say that I'm someone who my employer encourages me to participate in an employee wellness program. And that employee wellness program is run by an outside firm, and it's not part of my health insurance, so it's not regulated by any of those health privacy laws or regulations because it's a third party. Well, then that company itself has got an immensely valuable trove of data that it could then, sell to researchers for its own profit. And so I think we'll see more of that happening, which in my opinion is something that goes beyond just the employer-employee relationship and then goes to privacy and consent on a much greater level.
And I was speaking there to Jessica Roberts. She's Associate Professor of Law and Director of the Health, Law and Policy Institute at the University of Houston Law Center. You're listening to Business Daily from the BBC with me, Manuela Zaragoza. Well, insurance costs are driving employers to take an interest in their employees' health. But meanwhile, costs and time constraints are also leading to rapid growth in a new sector of medicine. Last year, as many as 15 million people used virtual health services or online health services. That's up 50% from 2013, according to the American Telemedicine Association. But is that a good thing? One such telemedicine company is Health2. Its founder and CEO is Ron Gutman. I started by asking him how it works.
Virtual care is all the way from providing information to people via digital channels to connecting them with the right care, with the right doctor at the right time, at the right cost, and also with engaging them around their health and well-being on an ongoing basis, whether they're just managing their healthy life or they're managing a condition.
And all this happens through an app, through the internet?
It happens both, right? So basically the app is the main channel of people to and for doctors to connect to Health2. And, we have more than 102,000 physicians in our network in the United States and now more than 2,500 even in New Zealand. So both physicians and patients can access Health2 via special apps that they can download easily to any mobile device or personal computer.
So if I went onto Health2, would I get the same physician or doctor every time, or would that change each time?
It's your choice, right? So you can utilize one of our services that have 24/7 connectivity to doctors, and obviously your doctor is not available 24/7. So if you really want to connect immediately to a doctor, we'll match you with one or more of 102,000 physicians. Or you can actually connect with your own physician or choose one physician with whom you will have like a more regular interaction, and then you can schedule an appointment with them.
There will be people who say this can never replace the face-to-face consultation that you get when you see someone in person, and that a lot of the cues that a physician or a general practitioner or a doctor gets about the state of someone's health often are non-verbal, that you have to see someone to really know what's wrong with them.
Yeah, so we believe that it's not binary. It's not yes or no, right? So in some cases, you really need to see the doctor in the real world for them to touch and see and diagnose, and in some cases you don't. So what we believe, it's a continuum. Rather than say everything needs to move virtual or everything needs to be in the office, we believe that there about 50% of the time it needs to be virtual and 50% of the time in the office.
Why do you think there has been this rise in popularity with virtual healthcare?
Absolutely. So I think it's really fulfilling a very important need. When we talked with Health2 served hundreds of millions of people in 174 countries, and we keep serving them to ask them what's missing in healthcare. And the main thing that they talk with us about all the time is speed, quality, and compassion. I think that people want to get in front of care immediately, as quickly as they can. We also have an issue with cost in healthcare. If you look at the rising cost of healthcare, not only in the US, we see that in the UK, we see it all over the world, the cost of healthcare is very, very high. So finding channels that, on the other hand, are more efficient and convenient for the consumers, but are also more cost effective for the system, are very desirable and where we are in healthcare today. So it's gaining popularity very fast.
In what way is it more cost effective then? I mean, how much does it cost to subscribe to a service through Health2? For example, in the US, where people cover their own healthcare costs or their employers do, how would it work? How much would it cost an employer to give this kind of service to their employees?
Absolutely. So, the list price to buy Health2 as a service through our app or on our website is $99 per month. And if an employer buys it, it's a lot more cost effective for the company to buy it because we get to manage the entire population.
And if you're looking at the individual client there, the ones who are paying $99 a month, I mean, how does that compare to, say, just a normal health insurance cost or just general health insurance, or going to see a doctor, for example?
Yeah, I mean, this is, if you
is
paid
it cheaper? Is it cheaper? I suppose that's what I want to get at.
Oh yeah, much cheaper. I mean, like if you went to see a doctor, if you don't have insurance, one visit will be more expensive than than doing Health2 for a whole month, obviously. So, it's much more cost effective. It's unlimited access, right? So you can get consultations with doctors 24/7. You don't need to wait, right? The access is immediate, right? So there are aspects that are much better service than what you would get in the real world, and you can do it as much as you want. You pay once a month, and then you can connect with doctors as many times as you need for both yourself and your family. As I said before, if your employer or now insurance companies, we're actually starting to work with insurance companies right now that are buying it for their insuree population. It's the same thing. I mean, it's much more cost effective and a lot cheaper when we are selling it to a large population, and then the provider will provide it to you for free.
I was speaking there to Ron Gutman, founder and CEO of the telemedicine company called Health2. The question is whether virtual health will convince you to see a doctor more often or not. Let us know. You can always get in touch. In the meantime, before we go, we had quite a few responses to our programme about how to be mediocre and how to age. Rod Longmire in the US wrote, "I really loved your segment on old age. I've worked in factories my whole life and they all rely on the knowledge of older men." While Linda Pilgrim tweeted that she liked the way the programme reframed our thinking about ageing. "I'm all for it," she wrote. "The hard part is daily interaction with most people who count this." And Annette Rondos Patera had this to say about how our How to Be Mediocre programme affected her. She said, "The concept of constant goals is exhausting and rather self-destructive." And she wrote that being content and grateful with what one has, being a conscientious, hard-working professional does not seem to be enough. "I thank you," she said, "for recognising the positive side of a healthy, simple and peaceful lifestyle." Do keep your comments coming on those programmes or any of our programmes. Get in touch via Twitter on @BBC Business or my own Twitter handle @ManuelaBBC, or email us at world.business@bbc.co.uk. There's more business news on our website, but for now, stay tuned to us here on the BBC World Service.